Don't even ask me about it. You said you asked me, I doubt it. I think I remember something like that. You know, there's a point to being unconventional, a little bit different than a lot of people else. A lot of people help a lot of people, and a lot of people don't know what they're doing. These rough starts and stumbling into something, really you stumble onto something you never thought you'd bump into. Now it's something, dude, that you're never gonna leave. Something you tried to leave in the past, and something you couldn't achieve. Sometimes it's hard for us to not do things. Do you see what I mean? We get a little bit derailed. I wonder if we've sailed, or if we just sold ourselves to someone else. Pleasing people for the sake of pleasing people. We don't even know what we're trying to get from it, but it's something that it's hard for us to get from. Here to there without doing. We think that's the way to do it. We think that's the way. It's the way we're all moving as a society, trying to be better than him and her, and we don't even know why we're trying to be better anyway. Because you don't really feel so good once you are. Once you win, you realize it's over. And the fun was the game, not winning the thing. I don't find fun in games. But life's just fun and games. And we're often just looking in the wrong place. Truly. There's people that you can notice that really understand what it means to be home. To know what it means to be okay with being alone. And then there's those people that don't. They have everything and everyone around them and they feel so empty. The kind of life that we are searching for, to be busy all the time and have all these possessions. It's something you can achieve. It's what they used to call the American dream. But regardless of where you are, if you really wanted to try so hard to get yourself ahead in life, then almost certainly you would find that you could achieve all those things. But why? The more you get, the less you have. And the more you get, the more you grasp. You're grasping at things, feeling like everything's trying to leave, as more things are coming into your presence. And you think they're presents, but you don't feel so present. You get given so many things that you get lost inside of them. And what you thought was going to open you up caused you to hide instead. It's so nuts. It's not some kind of philosophical belief for you or me to try to think that might be a good thing for us to try to look into to see if we can improve or have a deeper type of life if we try to maybe look at the hidden meaning in things. It doesn't have to be hidden, it just seems to be on the surface when we uncover what's really going on. It's like we've got a surface place on top of the surface. And I'm certain that if you just listen to what I'm saying and search inside the words that I'm going to spit out here for you right now, as I'm sitting down the afternoon of the 15th of October, 2025, Call this Metronome Madness, episode 32. My name is Evan Strong, dude. You'll understand what I'm trying to say. Because if we look at life as it is, on the surface level, the face value, and take it for what it is, when it's staring us in the face, kids, you'll understand that you can just sit and look at things as they are. But then people like to make a surface on top of the surface. Life's so simple and easy. But then we put a surface level glaze of something on top of that. People put on their mask. People hide and lie and try to become something that they're not, rather than just looking at who they are on the surface. Because as deep as things can be, the only way that there's depth to the sea is because there's a top to the thing. And we can look at it and understand what it is if we just look at it and understand what it is. But a lot of people got this life that they live where they're looking at things and trying to make it be something different. And they're not listening. When the wind is blowing, they don't even know it. Because they're so surface level, they got something shoved inside their ear canal, trying to drown out the sound. You understand what I'm saying? There's a simplicity to life when everything's just laying right out in front of our eyes. And it does that whether we try. But then we try to hide. We try to put a surface level layer on top of the surface level layer. You got this big skin organ on top of the skin of your body, and things just keep seeming to layer themselves until they get higher and higher, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. But then people put things on top of the surface of the skin. And so if we start to begin to try to figure out what's underneath, when we can't even take off the thing that's already on the surface of these, then we're not going to know what's going on. And I just want to make it as real as it is, like I say when I say those things. I'm not trying to make some kind of deep, crazy, think yourself to death, figuring out what I'm trying to say type of thing. But it's crazy how we can look at something and we don't see it. We don't see what's there on the surface. We see a surface level idea of what we think the surface of that thing might be. This is not a joke, and it's one of those simple kind of things where I don't have all that many rhymes going on inside of this, at least not up until right now. But because life is like when we lie down, we just lie down on the surface of the bed, but then we get in our head about some things, about what it means to sleep. We try to think through it so much that we can't do it. So what? What then? What's the answer? Can't we just lay on the surface of the bed and get some rest? Not just with our head, but with what's inside of it too? But you gotta rest the surface of it, dude. Talking about all the thoughts inside your brain and trying to get them to be tame. Well, can you just tame your own physical skull and lay it down on something and give it a break? A lot of people think that they're too busy to sleep. But then they can't be busy, at least not the way that they think. They're busy trying to figure out why they're so busy. See what I mean? The surface level thing is that you're busy. But then you're so busy thinking about how busy you are that you put a layer on top of it and everything else just kind of seems to get hidden underneath. You don't even realize that you're busy because you're too busy thinking about how busy you are. We're just layering our problems. And the way that we solve them is realize that they're not problems in the first place. And if you just got stuff going on, you've got stuff going on. If you're just tired, then you probably need some rest. But we don't just rest at that being the outcome and the answer. We say, well, if I'm tired, then I must think about how tired I am and complain about how tired I am, which makes me more tired. And now I'm just wired, and actually I have more energy now, but that's keeping me down because it makes me more tired. When really surface level, you could have just gone to sleep. Take a break, stop thinking about some things. We put a surface on top of the surface. Do you see what I'm saying? And then we skim across the surface with what we're saying. We don't actually say the things we're talking about. But we like talking about things one day, maybe, if I get there. We put some surfaces on top of the surface just to see how much we can add to life. And then we can't even find the surface of the earth. We try to determine what our worth is by how much we can make in this life. Whether it is money, monetary value, right? Or if it's just stuff that we're just placing on the earth, man. There's a lot of things that we don't even understand. You can't even get to the ground to feel grounded, doing all your things inside your places that you seem to be going to for the type of thing that you don't want to be racing. You think you're slowing down. You go down to the spa, but you're in a place that's placed on top of the earth. And inside that place, you're placed on top of a table. And on top of that table, you're placed there with something on top of you, and a topical cream too to go inside of you, and all these things on top of the surface of the other thing that was just surface level to begin with. And you think you're so in this, understanding what life is. You just gotta go outside, kids. Just stand on the ground. And I don't mean like concrete and tile and hardwood flooring that's sure kind of natural, but I'm saying go out there and just walk on the dirt, walk in the grass, and don't walk fast to try to see where you can get to. But you're not gonna get anywhere, dude. You're trying to go so deep in life by adding a surface to the surface of the surface level things that were just there to begin with. It really is how it is. This is how it is. This is how it is. Instead of just having a conversation with somebody and understanding just who that person really is, human being to human being, you do some things like go to a school to learn about psychology for 8 years. And through all the tears, you can't even figure out how your own emotions work because you've been focused on the work to get to the bottom of the surface level explanation from a book on how you should go through life and choose to look into the eyes of someone else to try to help, rather than just getting rooted in the surface level of, hey, I'm a human being, I know how to do some things because that's what I am. I don't need to try to learn from a book or what somebody else said to understand how to know what's in my head. It's in your own head. That's the simple surface level of this. But then you got a surface on top of a surface, and now you're placing a book on top of a table, some ink on top of the pages, your eyes on top of the ink, reading what else everyone else is saying. I mean, I can't, it's as real as it gets. Yeah, tell me about it. Placing surfaces on top of surfaces, and then we're searching just to get to the surface of this earth that gets really underneath a lot of other things. I mean, this is as real as it gets. No philosophical belief. I'm not trying to preach you some things. I'm just trying to show you that we don't need to be preaching some things. And that's what I do when I talk about life. When I talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ, I say it's the truth of all things. Right? Not asking for agreements. Please just leave this as a surface level thing that I'm trying to achieve. If it's a good thing, then take it. If it's a bad thing, then leave it. But I'm going to just sit here and say the things that I say until I get seasick, rocking across the surface of these waves. And I don't want to be trying to take a different kind of level of surface, put a different surface level of thing on this to be searching, to try to see how many heights I can stack to. Yeah, you're standing on the surface of the ground on top of an 80-foot tall building, or an 80-story tall building. Told yourself 80 stories about how this will be better for you. And now you don't even know what to do. You feel so out of your element when you're on the ground. When you get so busy being on the top floor of a building, with a surface on top of a surface on top of a surface on top of a surface, and you're just searching to try to feel grounded. You only feel grounded when you're in the ground dead. It's the only time people actually get to nature. When they're living in a modern man-made world. A lot of them, at least. A lot of people are lost until the day that they're 6 feet beneath the earth. That they search their whole life on how to get higher than. People want to get so surface level with things that they don't even want to stand on the surface of things. But they just stack and stack and stack things to the ceiling. And they don't understand why they're not feeling very good at all. It's crazy. It's really nuts. Yeah. Anyway. It's not a bad thing to live a surface level life. If we can define a surface level life as the kind of life where we're just looking at things like, oh, there it is. I'm seeing it. Right there on the surface. I don't gotta be searching and add things on top of the other things that I added last week to try to see if I can sneak a peek through the 14 other things I stacked upon this thing to try to see what it really might be. It's not bad to be surface level. If we can level the surface and stop trying to search inside this kind of life that we live to try to be the best version of the kind of guy that we wish that we could be. Once we do stop the searching, that's where you get that surface level, hey, I'm just me. Hi. Simplicity. All the bigger things in life just seem to leave, except for the biggest thing in life that doesn't need to be added or gained or even explained. The Spirit of God is within all things. It's a surface level thing. I'm leveling the surface of everyone's beliefs. Don't even believe it. Don't even think that I know a single thing about this. Look at it on the surface. What am I really saying? Take my words at face value and value that instead of trying to see what you can add. You get so many surfaces on top of the surfaces, you just can't stop it, and you're searching in all of this pile of garbage to try to find a piece of paper that you wrote like 3 minutes ago, but in between then and now you got like 40 other ones, bro. And you don't even know how to gather your thoughts, and you think that it'll stop the deeper you try to get. Well, why not just slow down a bit? Have one thought at a time. Call that a surface level life. And that's where the depth will come. Is that weird or what? It's the paradoxical gospel of Jesus Christ. This is how we really live a godly life. Is understand that he takes his time. He couldn't run out of it because he is out of it. Apart from all the things that we seem to put so much importance and focus on until we can't focus because the things are gone. Stacked beneath all the other things we thought we needed to put some more focus on as well. We got ourselves in jail because we took the surface level life and just tried to add more surfaces, more places to place things. And you don't even know what you were holding in your hand because you must have set it down when you came into the room. And you don't even know what you're doing. Trying to get so deep in life by reading everybody else's surfaces. They write it on a surface. They print it on a surface. They paint it and post it. They tell you how they're feeling. But it's a surface level covering of really what's on the surface of them. It's not bad to be surface level. If we stay at that first surface, like the Earth's surface, y'all trying to search to surf, and you don't surf on the ocean, you search in a place where you want to be floating. You make these sky-high buildings, and you're on a sky rise, surfing in a little puddle, trying to be so connected and rooted. And you know how to do it. right? Because you got all the money you want in your life. You got all the connections. The more connections you have, the more disconnected you get with the land. We got so many connections, we could build the coolest thing out there, man. You know, I know somebody who built something that's cooler than I could ever make. A beautiful earth with a tree and a lake. Some mountainous scenery, some things that I can't even believe when I'm seeing with my eyes. And I'm seeing some things at surface level. By leveling the surface, knocking down a building or two. People try to knock down some trees, dude, to build some buildings. Who are you trying to get on top of? Because you sure did. You place something on top of the surface of the earth. And that always leaves. And that's not going to determine your worth. Do you see what I mean? If we can level some things and get down to the surface, that's where the depth is. Truly, really, actually. I'm sorry that it seems like we got to add so many things stacked to the ceiling with all of our beliefs about how some things could be better if we just tried and tried to get so high with our buildings and our mindsets and the things that we might get if we try to work just a little bit harder than the next guy in life. We try to find the surface. You're making things up. Like this painting you put on the face. Face painting, in case you didn't know it, there was a surface that you put that surface level thing on top of. Before you go to night time, sleepy, beddy bye. All night you lay there and try to sleep, wondering why you couldn't find the real you inside. It's because it was on the surface. That's where the real depth is. But you didn't just let this surface of you be the thing to let people understand who you really are, what's underneath. How deep can we get by just looking at some things at the surface, rather than just surfing across the surface, trying to cross our lists off of all the things that we could put on top of the screens. I mean, you've got a surface level thing already on the screen. You just look at something as it is. It's a beautiful photograph that they're putting up here to display for you. But then on top of that, you overlay something on top of the overlay that you put on top of the other thing that you altered. And then you put a screen protector on top of the thing, on top of your projector. And all of a sudden we can't figure out what happened. We try to go so deep doing all of these things to try to make it seem so much better. And whether it's anything else or different or what, it doesn't even matter because we don't even remember what was on the surface. Because we're trying to go too deep. Do you see what I mean? The surface level is where the depth is. If you just look at something without trying to make it be something at all, then you'll fall in love with it. And that's where you can just slip into this deepness. There's nothing wrong with being surface level. There's nothing wrong with the simple answers, because that's where the depth is. How you doing? Hey, I'm doing fine. What, you don't want to get deeper with me? No, that's as deep as it gets. I'm feeling how I'm feeling right now, and I just told you in the most real way. You want me to come up with some things? That's surface level. All of a sudden, I'm stacking opinions and beliefs and some things that I might think that you want to hear from me on top of the things that I told you because that's how I really feel. Just simple. I feel like I feel right now. And that only needs to be explained to the degree it needs to be explained. And that's the surface level where the real depth is. You see what I mean? We had a surface on top of the thing. Oh, let's see. Maybe he wants to hear this from me. We just say some more words. And we think we're trying to go deep. Well, what? Don't you want to have a real conversation with me? I did. You know what's real is I want you to leave me alone. Just let me be. That's the depth to me. You want me to go deeper? Please. Me going deeper would just be me turning around and I'd leave. Because now I can dive into who I really am without trying to pretend that there's more to me than what's on the surface. How complex do you want to get? How much do you want to try to add to your life? And why? The more you get, the less you have. The more you get, the more you grasp. Trying to just find out, how can I make a deeper, better, bigger, longer conversation with someone I don't even want to take a single second to talk to, so I can be so deep by making a surface level, pointless comment on something. But it sure lasted some time. But the thing that we need to focus on this life is the fact that we only have the amount of time that we have. And just keeping things on the surface is how we get deep. Because it allows us to really do things. It's not a religion or a belief. It's the truth of all things. Plain and simple. The gospel of Jesus Christ. The only way that you'll ever achieve exaltation, eternal life. Simple. Two simple things. Love God and then the other human beings. There you go. Surface level. And all of a sudden you're clear underneath. The deepest of deep. Into some really good things. Because you didn't try to search for a surface that you could just keep stacking on top of something to try to find out, if you could find out maybe one day what's underneath. But you just let things be. Simple enough for me. And I'm a simple human being. I'm not so fond of surface level people. But I'm really fond of people who will level the surface to the point that we're all equal. And that's got to be seen with some context. And so next, I'm going to just take a step to where I'm going to go and say, hey, so if you'd like to come along and listen to my songs that don't rhyme all the time, but I'm just a person trying to find if life is a little bit easier than a lot of people try to make it be, then come along with me. Come along with me. I'm here for life. Evan Strong as the founder of InTheImageClothingCompany. Why? Well, that's something you'll find if you look at it on the surface. But if you try to add all these things, like, what is he trying to do with this? What does this mean? Instead of just looking at it as it is and see what it means, then you won't really understand what I'm doing here, see? Stop trying to dig so deep. Call it a paradoxical gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm just here trying to get to the truth of life. And so why do we keep adding things on top? Why? You can't get to the surface when you add things on top. But you just added a surface on top of a surface. Stop trying to search and just leave it as it is. It's just life, kids. Welcome to my class. I sit here and tell you about life, and I don't even sit back. I sit on the edge of my seat, and I tell you some things, because I'm intrigued with life. I sit on the surface. And that's what gets me to stop searching. Seeking you will find, and once you've found it, just, well, there you go. Stand in a holy place and be not moved. Stop trying to assume you got to keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper, because you're digging yourself a hole. It's the paradoxical gospel of Jesus Christ. It's let go and there's your life. It's on the surface. Just like your expression should be. The same thing you're feeling underneath is the same thing you're showing when somebody sits down next to you in the seat. What are you doing? And you think that I'm not deep. I'm showing you who I really am and what I really mean. The deeper you try to go, the more you need to row. Frantically, though, your little boat, because you're sinking, trying to stay afloat on top of all these surfaces that you put on top of the surface just to see if you could get to the surface of things. Searching for, please, you don't even know what you're searching for. Is it you versus me? This is what I ask, right? All of a sudden the dude's talking to two different kind of people as if he's two different kind of people, but he's just a person trying to show us the world equal. That only happens if everything's sitting on the surface. That only happens if everything's sitting on the surface. Everything's equal because it's coming out of the same ground. But all of a sudden you're looking all around and you can't really see so far because somebody else's building is in front of your face. And they're trying to claim to you that they made it great. They're so deep in life. Well, you're deep in the sky. I mean, you're kind of into something so deep you don't even know a thing anymore. You lost yourself. Well, who are you really underneath? Oh, shoot. I'm trying to live a life where you don't got to question a single thing about me. Because if I show it all on the surface, then there's nothing else left underneath besides me. But I'm the thing that you look at when you just take a peek. Life is just what it is. The deeper it gets, the more we just wish it could be simple again. We could just sit on the surface of it. Oh, shoot. You know who is the wisest person in life? I don't know. But I do know Jesus Christ. Personally. I do. And so can you. If you stop trying to search and search and search and search inside all of the things in life to try to find the truth and everybody's surfaces that they've stacked on top of it. He's got something, she's got something. He expounded on what she had and she expounded on what he tried to add to the other person's thing they already put on top of something else. And now we're so deep in other people's surface level lives that we can't find the ground. Piling up things higher and higher and higher. All people's notes of how to get deeper in life end up putting them in a skyrise. Now you're at the top of the building, trying to feel grounded. What is going on? This is the kind of life we live. This is where we're at with this, kids. Wake up the youth and give them the truth. Help some people know that they don't have to do a single thing to find out what's underneath, besides show it on the surface. Who is it that ye say that I am? Jesus Christ asks, because he has no depth to him. You look at him and there he is. But you can get so deep with all the things you try to stack on top of him and the surface just to try to deepen this. Understanding you think you got because you're the one that's so hot, right on the mark and right on the money. Really what you're doing is running to a bunch of conclusions and your delusions are stacked on top of the truth, kids. There's only truth. Just let it be. And let things be on the surface, please. Everything that's underneath. And live a surface level life, because that's where you'll actually find enjoyment, fulfillment. Enjoy, kids. Y'all just want to enjoy this life you've been given by God. And it's on the surface. That's where he placed us, at least. On the surface of this thing. There's not all that many people that live underneath the surface of the earth. Because please, I need to breathe. Give me a little bit of space. And how you do that is getting out of your shell. And just being on the surface is where you dwell. That's where the depth comes. That's where the depth comes. It's on the surface of life. It's on the surface. You're underneath the ground in some kind of cave somewhere. You're trying to look around and you can't even see a thing because it's dark underneath the surface of the earth. But if you're on the surface of the earth, man, it can get so deep. You look across a big old field of open plains and you see a whole lot of things. You stand on the surface of the mountain and you're looking down just to realize the ground down there is the same ground as up here, but if you're looking at it at a perspective where you're not letting yourself see everything just as it is on the surface of this life, the earth's pretty big. And even though the mountains seem like they're so tall to us, you and me, just equal human beings, when we zoom out a bit and realize that it's just a little tiny bump on this surface of our globe, that's where we get back home. Understanding that life is a surface level thing. And that's the best thing that you could achieve. Is just looking at this thing, that thing, and some other things and just say, all right, regardless of what I could think, I'm going to just stop, look, and leave. I'm going to leave it right where I found it. I'm going to leave that rock sitting right on the ground. Just looking like a stone because it's a stone. And even though I could take it and try to shape it into something else great, it's not going to be greater than it is because it's just what it is. And that's just the surface level of this beautiful thing that we get riled up over as human beings. A diamond in the rough. It's right on the surface. Unpolished. Raw, real, blunt, bold. Just as it is. That's when it's authentic. Just sitting there, being what it is on the surface. That's when it's deep. And then, we can take it and try to make it into something else that we want it to be. And now it's surface level. That's how it is. I'm going to cry over this. I mean, it's not even a joke. And, I know that's not why I do this thing, to make it something funny or silly or whatever else you could think that I could be trying to do, sitting here just saying whatever I say, but God is backward from the world. He's backward from what you try to do to do anything that you're not doing to serve the King. Surface level, man. You want to live a life that's deep and that actually means something? Then stop trying to get underneath and just show who you are on the surface. Anyway, shoot. All right. I mean, look at it. Think about it. Look at life. Those are the people that we like. Is the people that just show us exactly who they are without trying to hide, without trying at all. When you really realize what it means to be a surface level person, you're just a person who shows exactly who you are on the surface. And those are the kind of people we love to be around. You're looking for the hidden meaning in things. Nah, man. It's hidden in plain sight. You know that, right? When you're looking so deeply for something you can't seem to find, and you're walking around all over the place trying to figure out how you misplaced this thing, you look down, it's in your hand. It's obvious, it's simple, it's just what it is. It's on the surface of this beautiful earth. It's where we've been placed, and God determined our worth before we ever had the opportunity to even think about what it means to be worth something at all. Looking around, you get drowned in the depth of every opinion you could try to care about. Or you could just be who you are. Surface level. This is where it gets real. You can try to understand something so deep that it doesn't even exist, and you can try to make it just turn into something, but it's like walking on a beautiful trail somewhere, and you think you're so deep in your mind, thinking about all the things that you can have tonight, the next week, the next year, your 10-year life plan from this point forth. How beautiful that will all be while you're walking through some scenery that you have never seen. You never thought you'd even be able to. And you're right. Because while you're walking down this trail with all the beauty right in front of your eyes, you're not seeing it for the surface level of what it is. But you're looking too deep, trying to see what it could be. And maybe not even this thing. But whatever's in your mind, whatever's buried underneath, all the things you think you might one day achieve. Well, life's passing you by, and if you just open your eyes and look at the surface level of where you're really at, then you'd be able to see all the things that you have. But instead, you're trying to get so deep with all the things you might, maybe, could achieve. When you get surface level, life gets deep. You know what I mean. You know what I mean now. You know what I mean now. That's why I sit down. I started to just speak some words out. Because it's eternal truth. So, there's my 2 cents for you. I don't need any deep pockets to just fit a couple pennies inside. But I need some deep pockets if I'm trying to hide in the depth of all these surface level opinions and beliefs I've got stacked on top of ground level truth. When everything gets dropped to its knees again, I've got proof that there's truth. Throw something up in the air. Beware. Better watch your head. Something will drop right on top of you. Call it getting hit with the truth. It's coming right back down to the surface of this beautiful earth that God gave us to inhabit. So don't be like a rabbit hopping to conclusions, trying to get yourself to the higher story of the building. There's only truth, dude. It's surface level. It's the fact that everything gets leveled. An earthquake, a hurricane, some crazy wind. The truth just takes everything and brings it back down to its knees. Every empire always collapses from the depth of what it was to the surface.